Hi there. So it's day 3 of our 100 Azwena journey, and today's word is actually curiosity. And of course, everybody has been curious. Why did you stop your business? Why did you quit your 9 to 5? Those are the questions that's been on your mind for the past 3 days that I started this journey. And today I'm going to be telling you my story. We told our story of Azwena yesterday. Today I'm going to tell you my story, but then my failure story. So a quick one. My first ever failure was back in secondary school. I think SS2, when I got an F in mathematics. And that broke me kind of in a way because I was very good at math. But then this time I didn't prepare properly and then I failed. And I can remember my maths teacher asking me, "What happened? Why did you fail?" And I just opened up and told the person I wasn't prepared enough, and that was why. Fast forward to the next failure encounter was in university. I studied human anatomy, so there was a course called upper limb, that's your hand. So we had to study the entire hand. And on the first, I think that was 200 level, the first introduction into the actual anatomy, and I failed that course. But then, thank God for carryover. I wrote it again the next time, and I had a B. And fast forward to after NYSC, when I actually started working. My first job was as an educational consultant, which is a fancy word for salesperson. So we had to place call, talk to people and convince them. And I did that for a year after NYSC. And I wasn't the top 10, I wasn't the top 2 or 3. And it just made me feel like I wasn't a good salesperson. So there was a whole lot of mindset shifts that needed to be done. I kept feeling like I was a failure, I wasn't good enough, and that was it. So I quit the job. And then I went to another company. This one is even more toxic and more demanding than the previous sales job. The target was 10 million. And if you didn't meet that 10 million, you are said to be owing the company the negative of what you didn't make for that month. So, and the environment was totally toxic. And I couldn't cope. And then after 8 months, they sacked me. But that really broke me. That really broke me. But that wasn't the last straw anyways. So it broke me, and for the next 4 months, I couldn't understand or wrap my head around the fact that I'm actually good at sales. I felt like I wasn't good. I was applying for a job, but I wasn't doing it intensively because I needed to unlearn a lot of toxicity and bad talks that were said to me during my stay in the company. So 4 months later, I got another job as an executive assistant. This was in sales, so I was feeling a bit calm. I got the opportunity to work with the best boss I've ever worked with, the late Pascal Dozie, God rest his soul. But then after he died, I then had to be assumed into one of his son's business, and I was acting as a business development manager. Although this time, it wasn't core sales, but it was also sales, business, marketing, and everything. So there wasn't too much pressure, but then I was able to deliver on my duties. And shortly after, I also quit that job because, like I said, I didn't find fulfillment in 9 to 5. And then the last job I did, which was early this year, this was actually the last straw. I was a sales and community manager for a company in hospitality business like that. And from the first day, I knew I wasn't supposed to be there. If they asked me to wait or stay a week longer, I did. And then 1 month after, I couldn't cope. The environment wasn't conducive for me. I was being told and reminded of my failure, saying that I haven't sold anything, and it just made me feel, but I did this, and they were, unsatisfied by the work I was doing, and I felt, no, I have to end this, and that was when I just shut it down for the 9 to 5. So that's the 9 to 5 aspect. Then for the business aspect, during all this course of this whole 9 to 5 journey, I was also handling my business GX, which I closed down in 2025. And that was also another journey of failing. I would have people return goods. I would have friends stop talking to me because I disappointed them. I failed in their orders. I would have returns. I would have negative comments, and those things were breaking me, but they were also making me failure proof, and that was what I'm grateful for. So all these experiences rather that I've had in the past have molded me to become the person that I am today. And I'm not even scared of failing. That's why in my first video I said, even if I fail again, I'm gonna try again. So I've been able to build that failure proof, and that's why I'm actually starting Azuena. So it's not just a new brand of me trying again. It's me building tenacity. It's me giving myself grace and understanding that as long as there's life, the deadline is death. As long as there's life, I have the opportunity, I have the chance to try again and again and again. And I want you also to remember that life is given to everybody to keep falling and rising. And we do that each step we move. Because when you're actually walking, you're falling and you're rising again. Because when you take one step, you lose balance and you catch yourself with the other step. So that's how life is. We keep falling and rising. And it's just beautiful. And I'm grateful for all these experiences. They have made me the man that I am today and the man that I am becoming. So yeah, that's my short, brief story. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Today is day 3. Happy Easter, by the way. Christ is risen, and he also kind of died, or what the devil would term as failure, but he rose again on the 3rd day. So if he can do that, we also can do that every day of our lives. So yeah, day 3 of 100 Azuena. Let's do this together, one step